Hello, and welcome to Myths, Monsters, Murder. A series where we'll be delving deep into Scottish folklore, dark history, and other gruesome tales. Featured in this episode, Maggie Wall, an alleged witch whose presence is still felt even to this day, 364 years after her supposed death. But before we get there, let's rewind just a wee bit, shall we? The Scottish witch trials were a series of events in early modern Scotland that predate many similar happenings in the world, such as those in Salem, Massachusetts. Legend has it that one witch to be put to trial during this time went by the name of Maggie Wall. She was from the village of Dunning in the area of Perthshire, Scotland, and Dunning already had a history of interesting tales at this point, even long before the time of witches. Let me just quickly fill you in with that. I know I said long twice, but maybe not that long ago. More than 1,000 years prior to the execution of Maggie Wall, there was Saint Serf, a saint of Scotland who centred his holy cult in the neighbouring county of Fife. It was said that while the saint was in Dunning, a dragon attacked the village, and after a lot of blood and a lot of fire and a lack of options, it's said that he even fought the dragon with his pastoral staff and then slayed it. There is a church in the centre of Dunning dedicated to Serf, with monuments and carvings also present in the neighbouring villages as tribute to him. Was this and many other long ago legends the foundations of what later became the widespread superstition in Scottish history? The same superstition that then cost so many accused witches their lives. During the 17th century, records suggest that 6 women were condemned as witches and died during the witch trials in the village of Dunning, with the last alive of the so-called evil cult allegedly being Maggie herself. Now, we don't actually know exactly what mysterious events led up to these moments, but in the year 1657, a witch hunt was formed by the village to capture a woman who was allegedly performing rituals and placing curses on the local residents. The woman, Maggie Wall, despite her spells and curses, couldn't avoid being captured. And so her trial began, but little chance was given to poor Maggie to convince the villagers otherwise. She was then promptly ordered to be killed for her crimes of witchcraft. When condemned as a witch in Scotland during this time period, it was custom to strangle a person to death before burning them. So, if Maggie was lucky, she would have already choked to death before being burned. And if she wasn't, well, then she will have died screaming of her innocence until the agony stopped. If a curse does somehow exist, we can assume that this would only have angered her spirit even more. At the site of her death, less than half a mile away from Dunning, there was erected a stone monument to mark a celebration to the end of the witches in the village, with many thousands more possible innocent deaths still continuing for years and years to come in Scotland. Chillingly, in the year 1965, the infamous killers involved in the Moors murders, Ian Brady and Myra Hindley, travelled up to Scotland from England to see the monument. The horrifying couple were always publicly transparent about their obsession with the occult, and at this point were already partway through their bloodthirsty killing spree, with 4 children already being brutally tortured and murdered at the hands of the deadly pair. Apparently, as a child, Ian visited the monument and never forgot the haunting presence that it radiated, As adults, both Ian and Myra were accused of practicing witchcraft, and even took the time to be photographed with the monument of Maggie Wall while visiting. The photograph of Myra on top of the stones was published during her trial, with headlines reading the word witch, amongst many other accusations such as the performing of ritualistic killings on her victims. Now, this may sound like a bit much, but there was evidence found at the sites of the murders suggesting that there was some sort of ritual performed, including animal bones tied in knots of rope, forming shapes around the bodies. After the couple finished up at their favourite holiday destination, they then returned to England, where they continued to kill in the gruesome slaughtering of a teenager with a hatchet. This would be the last time they would kill before being caught. After 36 years in prison and many years of suffering multiple health conditions including a brain aneurysm, Myra Hindley died from bronchial pneumonia in 2002 at 60 years old. Similarly, Ian Brady was still in jail up until his death in 2017, when he died from heart failure at the age of 79. His final wishes requested for his funeral to be a ritual similar to that of a witch's Sabbath. The judge did not grant Ian's last wish and ruled that no music nor ceremony would be held for Mr. Brady. His remains were promptly cremated, then thrown into the sea to never be seen again. As time had passed, there was only even more speculation that the monument of Maggie Wall was cursed. But so the years went on and on and on, and the people of modern day Dunning had only hoped that there was an end to Maggie's curse. But as we've all learned before, angry spirits can endure even time itself. In May 2018, sadly, the body of a 22-year-old woman was found at the monument. Discovered by local hikers, she lay on the ground having already bled to death from stab wounds. At the time of making this video, the case is still an open mystery and there are no suspects. After all the ongoings connected to the story of Maggie Wall, it's clear that death and misfortune are never far away from Dunning. The Saracen Head pub in Glasgow, possibly the only pub in Scotland to be considered a pub and a museum, have a very curious exhibit on display. The exhibit in question being the alleged skull of Maggie Wall herself. It is unknown how the skull made its way to Glasgow, but I think we all know by now that with time, anything can happen. The skull remains there permanently as an attraction to the public. The only other connection to modern day that this legend has is that which stands roughly 50 miles away from the skull. Here, just outside of Dunning, the stone monument itself. Thinking about all the things that happened here in the past and all the things that could potentially happen in the future, it's just overwhelming. It is unknown who maintains the site, but as you can see, markings still in it, reading Maggie Wall, burnt here, 1657, as a witch. On the stones of the monument itself, offerings to Maggie. As well as that, gifts for loved ones who are no longer here. With all the unfortunate happenings surrounding Maggie Wall and her monument, it's hard not to question a lot of things. Was it bad luck? Was it coincidence? Is the legend real? Perhaps a witch's curse is true. One thing we do know is that we'll never find out. And that's why they call it a legend. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy this video even in the slightest, then please don't forget to like and subscribe. I promise I won't let you guys down. Future content is going to be very, very spooky. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Stay scared and stay safe. It's hard not to question a lot of things. Was it bad luck? Was it coincidence? Who doesn't know how to flush the toilet after they've had a shit? Featured in this episode, Maggie Wall. Not to be confused with Maggie Smith, the other Scottish legend. You know what's bullshit? 2020 years ago, a guy turns water into wine, and everyone's like, holy shit bro, you can do that? I'm going to call you my leader. But when a female years later uses a big word that the male mind can't comprehend, they're all like, witchcraft. The exhibit in question is actually just the American rapper exhibit, not the alleged skull of Maggie Wall. Imagine you just walked straight into a Glasgow pub and the first thing you see is, it's Mr. X to the Z exhibit. Here, just outside Dunning, the stone bullshit. I'll genuinely be happy if only one person likes this video, because it's my first one, right? Give me a break. I'm trying. I could see you complaining. Anyway, goodbye.